Ever since the advent of technology and the internet, we have become a generation of homebodies, with so many of us staying indoors. Now, there's not so much wrong with that. In fact, in this indoor era, a lot of us think we spend far less than we actually do. The numbers tell us differently, as a report surveying 16,000 people across North America and Europe found that roughly 90% of people spend 22 hours of the days indoors, with 1 in 6 respondents stating that they never went outside at all. Now, since the pandemic, this number may have increased even further, and with all of this potential cabin fever being experienced across homes, this is just one possible reason why we may be seeing a rise of brain fog. Before we go into exploring more about brain fog, please subscribe to this channel. It really helps the channel out, and learn more about brain behavior and business. So, brain behavior is a series of cognitive issues that include memory problems, an inability to focus properly, lack of mental clarity, and general mental fatigue. While staying indoors for way too long can definitely play a part as to why we're feeling more anxious and less energetic, there are also a number of many other reasons of why brain fog comes from. For one, screen time. There have been plenty of studies that show that too much screen time can lead to increased levels of anxiety and depression. Staring at a screen all day, whether it's your mobile phone or a computer, it's not good for you, and it will make you very vulnerable to brain fog. Stress is another factor. Since brain fog happens when you are feeling anxious and clouded in judgment, stress, especially high levels of it, can be a huge factor of why it is triggered. There's also a lack of sleep. There have been studies that show that lack of sleep can disrupt our brain cells' ability to communicate with one another. This in itself can create issues in visual perception and memory. Bad diet can also play a part to brain fog. Depending on what you eat or don't eat, you may have a deficiency in specific vitamins and minerals. Vitamins B12, for example, has been known to help in brain functioning, so lacking this could definitely lead to brain fog. Finally, there's also toxins and substances that you might be intaking into your body. If you drink a lot of alcohols or drugs, this can definitely play a part in triggering brain fog. Not only does alcohol interfere with the communication pathways of the brain, it also negatively impacts the way it works as a whole. So this whole brain fog issue only seems to have gotten worse ever since the pandemic. As neuroscientist Dr. Sabina Brennan notes, brain fog has become much more common as a result of COVID itself, and as a consequence of the stress of the last 2 years. Now, while some may pass off brain fog as nothing more than a feeling that's all in the head, there are others who believe that the symptoms felt are legitimately real. In fact, neuroscientist Michelle Monge has noticed that the symptoms experienced from COVID-induced brain fog are actually quite similar to that of chemo brain, the cognitive impairment in thinking and memory that occurs during and after chemotherapy. As she observes, the same symptoms of impaired attention, memory, speed of information processing, dysexecutive function, it really clinically looks just like chemo fog. Luckily, brain fog isn't something that we need to be rattled by constantly. With the right steps and effort taken, we can try to mitigate the effects of it quite quickly. For one, we need to get proper deep sleep. There is no doubt that sleep can refresh our minds and body completely, especially if we get proper sleep. There is plenty of research showing how important sleep is to regulate our moods, emotions, and general mental health. It's also important to sleep well and avoid using any type of technology in bed, as screen time, as we talked about earlier, is not that great for you, and it can actually have a negative effect on the quality of sleep. Secondly, do not try to multitask. These days, in a world where so much is going on and there's so much to do, the modern person is multitasking far more than ever before. In fact, millennials have been shown to split up their attention between different devices and tasks for up to 27 times per hour. While a lot of the modern generation may think that they're being more productive, studies have actually shown that multitasking reduces efficiency, performance, and potentially even IQ levels. Multitasking can be a huge contributing factor to energy drainage and lead to brain fog. Learn to take mental breaks. We're so wrapped up in getting things done and hustling hard that we forget about taking breaks. Especially in an age where remote working is becoming more normalized, taking some time off your brain or a digital screen is rare. But studies show that taking breaks can do wonders for your brain. Not only does it boost your brain's capacity for greater attention, focus, and creativity, it can also help you process new information much faster. And finally, once again, it goes back to this continued repeated thing, which is exercise regularly. It goes without saying that exercise is an absolute must to help our brain and body in every way. Besides keeping your blood flow moving, studies have also shown that active exercising can promote proteins in the brain that help with brain functioning and a reduction of anxiety. Exercise can also keep our minds away from negative thoughts, which is what we need in a time where there's so much negativity out there. So make sure to exercise and do some of the steps that I mentioned earlier to help reduce brain fog. Now, when we experience brain fog for long enough, we can feel unproductive, sluggish, and anxious. To learn more about why we're so anxious these days and why that's negatively affecting our brain, watch the video on the left.